demonstrate the installation, setup, configuration, and customization of the 940 communicating zone sensor. This advanced sensor communicates zone-specific temperature, relative humidity, and set point information on a 950 control running software version 2.2 or later. The goal of this video is to demonstrate how to install the 940 communicating zone sensor, how to set the zone address of each 940, how to assign the 940 sensor to a zone on the 950 control, how to configure the settings at the 940 zone sensor, and how to customize the 940 home screen. During the installation and setup process, you may want to pause this video, perform the designated procedure, and then resume play. The innovative 950 communicating control and the 940 communicating zone sensor are serviced by both American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning as well as Trane HVAC dealers. This demonstration will use a combination of units from both of these respected manufacturers. Mounting the 940 zone sensor. Locate an area within the zone that has good circulation, can sense the room temperature, and is not near windows or on an exterior wall. Also, avoid locations that have direct air source at or above the sensor, as heat from the screen could be trapped within the sensor and cause the indoor temperature to be biased. Wiring the 940 zone sensor. The 940 is a communicating sensor and requires three 18-gauge wires. D routes to data, R to 24-volt AC hot, and B to 24-volt AC common. These wires are connected to the corresponding terminals on the zone panel. If you have multiple 940 zone sensors, we recommend you use the clamp-style connectors included in the zone panel kit. It is very important to seal the wall penetration to prohibit any air source from inside the wall biasing the sensed indoor temperature. Once the subbase has been installed and the wiring connected, attach the 940 zone sensor to the subbase. Setting the zone address. The first time power is applied to a new 940, the zone sensor setup menu will display. To re-enter the setup menu, simply press and hold the indoor temperature button for 5 seconds. The zone address of each 940 is set from setup screen number 1. If necessary, use the red and blue arrows in the right portion of the display to navigate to this setting. Then, set the zone address by adjusting the black arrows on the left portion of the screen. The default address for all 940s is Zone 1. In this demonstration, we will set the zone address to Zone 3. Press Done to commit the settings. Note that the zone address will not be registered until the Done button is pressed. Associate each 940 sensor to a corresponding zone. Once all 940 zone sensors have been installed and addressed, and any non-communicating sensors have been connected, go to the 950 control to continue the setup process. From the 950 control, we will enable zoning, complete installer zone settings, and associate each 940 to a corresponding zone. To begin, press the menu button in the bottom left-hand corner and select Service. Press and hold the Technician Access button for 5 seconds, then press Proceed, and finally select Installer Setup. Before associating sensors to zones, zoning must be enabled. To do this, press the Standard button and make all equipment selections, and finally enable zoning. Once Enable is selected, a message is displayed with instructions to verify that all zone sensors are wired and addressed. Press the Save button and confirm by selecting Yes. The screen now displays the Zoning Advanced Setup. Proceed through the Zoning Setup screens. After completing the zoning setup process, you will be presented with a screen alerting you that one or more zones do not have an assigned temperature sensor and asking you if you want to assign them now. Selecting No will allow you to continue setting the zoning configuration. Selecting Yes will navigate you to the Zone Sensor Setup menu. For detailed information on Zoning Advanced Setup, refer to the Zoning Configuration video at fieldtechhelp.com. The Zone Sensor Setup screen allows you to assign and unassign zone sensors to each damper or zone. The left-hand panel of the screen displays a list of available zones, and the right-hand side will display a list of available sensors for a selected zone. Zone 1 by default is automatically assigned to the 950 and utilizes its onboard sensor. All other zones must be manually associated with a zone sensor. Note that when a zone is selected from the left-hand column, only communicating zone sensors addressed to that zone and non-communicating zone sensors wired to the corresponding zone slot will appear in the right-hand panel. In this demonstration, selecting Zone 2 in the left-hand column reveals that there is a non-communicating sensor wired to Slot 2 on the zone panel. To assign the sensor, select it and press the Assign button. Notice that the left-hand panel of the display now reflects this assignment. Selecting Zone 3 reveals that there is a communicating sensor available for this zone. To assign this sensor, select it and press the Assign button. Again, notice that the left-hand panel of the display indicates the sensor has been assigned and displays the serial number of the 940 zone sensor. Sensors can be unassigned from this menu as well. To unassign a sensor, simply select a zone from the left-hand column and press the Unassign button. To reassign a sensor, select the zone from the left-hand column, then select a sensor from the list of available sensors in the right-hand column and press Assign. For instance, if we had a non-communicating sensor wired to slot 1 on the zone panel, and we wanted to use this sensor instead of the 950's onboard sensor, we would select Zone 1 from the left-hand column and press Unassign. This unassigns the onboard sensor. Next, we will reselect Zone 1 from the left-hand column. Now you will see that the right-hand column displays both the onboard sensor and the non-communicating sensor wired to slot 1 of the zone panel. Select the non-communicating sensor and press the Assign button. The non-communicating sensor is now assigned to Zone 1 instead of the 950's onboard sensor. When all zones have been assigned a temperature sensor, press Done to exit the Zone Sensor Setup menu. It is not recommended to exit the Zone Sensor Setup screen until all zones have been assigned a sensor. Exiting the service menu without assigning a sensor to each zone will disable zoning. Now that all zones have an assigned sensor, we will configure the settings at the 940. Configuration settings at the 940 zone sensor. To edit the 940 communicating zone sensor settings, re-enter the Zone Sensor Setup menu by pressing and holding the Indoor Temperature button for 5 seconds. Press the red or blue arrow until setup screen number 2 is displayed. This is where the screen's active brightness is set. Valid values are 0 to 10 and the default value is 10. To select a different value, press the up or down arrow in the left portion of the display screen until the desired value is reached. Proceed to the next setup screen by pressing the red arrow. Setup screen number 3 is where the standby brightness of the display screen is set. Valid values are 0 to 10 and the default value is 0. Select the desired setting using the up and down arrows and proceed to the next setup screen by pressing the red up arrow. The backlight timeout delay is set from setup screen 4. The delay can be set from anywhere between 5 and 60 seconds. The default is 10 seconds. Setup screen 5 is where the clean screen timeout is set. This setting deactivates the 940's buttons for the specified time period so the screen can be cleaned. The setting range is from 5 to 60 seconds and the default setting is 30. After all values have been set, press the Done button to exit and proceed to customizing the 940 display screen. Customizing the 940 display screen. The display screen of each 940 can be individually customized. This customization is performed from the 950 control. From the 950 control, press Menu, select Settings, select Screen, and then select Zone Sensor. Using the small green arrows in the upper left portion of the display screen, navigate to the zone associated with the 940 sensor you would like to customize. When a zone with an assigned 940 zone sensor is selected, customization options will be displayed. From this screen, the following settings can be customized. Screen Lock, which locks or disables the 940 touchscreen. Display outdoor temperature. Display outdoor relative humidity. and this is only available if the 950 is connected to the Internet weather feature. Display indoor relative humidity. Display the home, wake, and away presets, and temperature format, either Fahrenheit or Celsius. Press Apply to activate the selected settings. Press Home to return the 950 control to the home screen. This concludes this demonstration of the installation setup, configuration, and customization of the 940 communicating zone sensor. For further information, please refer to additional videos at www.fieldtechhelp.com and the installer guides for the 940 sensor and the 950 control.